I started rapping when I was 10, and then I started dancing around 15, 16. Honestly, both because of my elder brother who did it first. He was a big fan of Michael Jackson. I'd say Indian culture, poetry is very big. My dad was a poet, my uncles are poets, so lyricism and writing and playing with words has always been like deeply in my culture or my upbringing.
So this scarf was given to me by my grandmother, who's from Libya and lived in Libya her entire life. She recently passed away at the ripe old age of 100. She just gave this to me it was her scarf that she used to wear every day when she was a kid. And last time I had visited her in Libya in 2012, she gave this to me because I hadn't been back there since the revolution happened and like all of the unrest and the war. My dad and my parents have been back, but I still have yet to go. But this is kind of the last thing that she gave me.
People grew up in a different way than I did because my mom was she always spoke Spanish to us growing up, and she still does. She always cooked traditional meals, and we were always surrounded by the culture even though we weren't in Bolivia. So it's just interesting growing up having being around people my age who just had a very different perspective than I did.
I'm learning is really all I can do. If I wasn't given the platform or the support I needed to learn about my family as much as I wish I had, and now I have to actively go out and pursue it myself. I'm going to Vietnam this summer. I wanted to go as a family because I think it'd be really nice and important, and growing up there they would know so much more than I could ever learn online, but it's not home for them anymore. The war really ruined it for them.
I'm still born in Canada, I'm still Canadian, but I try as hard as I can to connect to my Bulgarian side as much as I can. Every time I go back, I feel like I learned something new about my family, about the Bulgarian culture. I'll always learn something new, and because it's also always evolving and it's always changing.
I know a lot about Islam just from growing up and my parents and stuff like that, but there's still so much that I don't know that my dad would be able to tell you. But then there's so much that my dad doesn't know that only I'm in English a sheikh, but a sheikh would be able to tell you, because people only know so much about what's been written because it's right, it's religion, right, and you can only know about what's been said and what's been written.
I had learned a little bit of dance hall in Vancouver, but it was definitely not even the tip of the iceberg. It was just bare minimum. So moving here was it was crazy to see so many different cultures. People who aren't of that culture, for example, are trying to get exposed to it and learn it and just love it and have fun doing it. I think that's a good step towards the full appreciation of it.
A lot of dope dancers, and they bring in their culture. I have some friends from Nigeria, some friends from the Congo, and they really bring their culture and they really take pride in that. That's always a beautiful thing to watch. And it's cool seeing how their culture bleeds into their art.
I act different either way because I hold myself in a very different way. The way that I dress, the way that I act is very different, and all of that has to do with the fact that I live in Toronto and the fact that all my friends are different, the type of music I listen to, the type of fashion I'm into. That's what makes me me, and and when I travel, I absorb different aspects of cultures that create me. That's why when I'm in Bulgaria, nobody knows what I am because I'm so many things. I'm me.
The best way to learn about anything is to listen, right? Never assume you know what you don't know. So yeah, traveling is just kind of a way for me to discover more about the way other people live their lives and to kind of give me a deeper understanding on life and how to take things and have more wisdom in the future.
At the end of the day, we're all posers. You could be from any culture in the world, and you could wear just because you're from that place doesn't mean that you fully understand that place, because you haven't lived there, you haven't existed there, and even when you are there, you're gonna be a part of a different subculture that doesn't understand another subculture within that community. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, appropriating or appreciating, you just have to open yourself, you just have to learn. Nobody is 100% something besides themselves. You are only 100% you, you're not 100% where you're from or everything, you have aspects of everything, and you choose how much of it becomes a part of your life.
As long as there's some sort of cross-cultural exchange, right? It's not just me being oh, this is really cool, let me take that. You know, it's like, oh, cool, this is really cool. Check this out. This is from me. You know, like I think that's important too. Like we have things to offer each other, right?
I know we've talked about culture before and how like it doesn't exist in isolation. You need people to participate in culture for culture to exist and really thrive.
At the end of the day, like I'm an Indian rapper. You know, hip hop is not Indian culture. It doesn't stem from India. It stems from African American culture. And you know, the acknowledgement is important. As long as there's respect there, I think that's really important. So even if people see you as an outsider, be patient. You know, as long as you know that you actually are interested, you are partaking, you're respectful, you're learning, as long as you have that integrity, then you should be fine.